Hello, this is Two Ladies Midwest Adventures. I'm Julietta, and I am sorry for the squeaky chair. We are reading Heaven is for Real, and I am on chapter 17. As the green days of summer gave way into a fiery fall, we talked with Colton about heaven every now and then. But one running conversation did emerge. When Colton saw Jesus in heaven, what did he look like? The reason for the frequency of a particular topic was that, as a pastor, I wound up spending a lot of time in the hospital, in Christian bookstores, and at other churches, all places where lots of drawings and paintings of Christ often. Sonia and the kids were with me, so it became sort of a game. When we came across a picture of Jesus, we'd ask Colton, "What about this one? Is that what Jesus looked like?" Inadvertently, Colton would peer for a moment at the picture and shake his head. "No, the hair's not right," he would say, or "the clothes aren't right." This would happen dozens of times over the next 3 years. Whether it was a poster on a Sunday school form, a rendering of Christ on a book cover, or a reprint of an old master's painting hanging on the wall of the old folks' home, Colton's reaction was always the same. He was too young to articulate exactly what was wrong with every picture. He just knew they weren't right. One evening in October, I was sitting in the kitchen table working on a sermon. Sonia was around the corner in the living room, working on the business books, processing job tickets, sorting through payables. Cassie played Barbie dolls at her feet. I heard Colton's footsteps padding up the hallway and caught a glimpse of him circling the couch, where he had been planting himself directly in front of Sonia. "Mommy, I have 2 sisters," Colton said. I put down my pen. Sonia didn't. She kept on working. Colton repeated himself. "Mommy, I have 2 sisters." Sonia looked up from her paperwork and shook her head. "No, you have your sister, Cassie." "What do you mean? Your cousin, Tracy?" "No," Colton clipped off the word at me adamantly. "I have 2 sisters. You had a baby die in your tummy, didn't you?" At that moment, time stopped in the Burpo household, and Sonia's eyes grew wide. Just a few seconds before, Colton had been unsuccessful to get his mom's attention to listen to him. Now, even from the kitchen table, I could see that he had her undivided attention. "Who told you I had a baby die in my tummy?" Sonia said, her tone serious. "She did, Mommy. She said she died in your tummy." Colton turned and started to walk away. He had said what he said. He said what he had to say and was ready to move on. But after the bomb he just dropped, Sonia was getting started. Before our son could get around the couch, Sonia's voice rang out. "All hands on deck, red alert. Colton, Todd Burpo, you get back here right now." Colton spun around, caught my eye. His face said, "What did I just do?" I knew what my wife had to be feeling. Losing that baby was the most painful event of her life. We had explained it to Cassie when she was older. But we hadn't told Colton. Judging the topic, it was a bit beyond a 4-year-old's capacity to understand from the table. I watched quietly as emotions rioted across Sonia's face. A bit nervously, Colton slunk back around the couch and faced his mom again. This time more warily. "It's okay, Mommy," he said. "She's okay. God adopted her." Sonia slid off the couch and knelt in front of Colton so that she looked him in his eyes. "Don't you mean Jesus adopted her?" she said. "No, Mommy. His dad did." Sonia turned and looked at me, and in that moment she later told me she was trying to stay calm, but she was overwhelmed. Our baby is a girl, she thought. Sonia focused on Colton, and I could hear the effort it took to steady her voice. "So what does she look like?" "She looked a lot like Cassie," Colton said. She is just a little bit smaller, and she has dark hair." Sonia's dark hair. As I watched, a blend of pain and joy played across my wife's face. Cassie and Colton have my blonde hair. She had even jokingly complained to me, I carried these kids for 9 months. They both come out looking like you. Now there was a child who looked like her, a daughter. I saw for the first hint of moisture glint in my wife's eyes. Now Colton went on without prompting. In heaven, this little girl ran up to me and she wouldn't stop hugging me. He said in a tone that clearly indicated he didn't enjoy all this hugging from a girl. Maybe she was just happy that someone from her family was there. Sonia offered. Girls hug when they're happy. We hug. Colton didn't seem convinced. Sonia's eyes lit up and asked, what was her name? What was the little girl's name? Colton seemed to forgot about all the yucky girl hugs for a moment. She doesn't have a name. You guys didn't name her. How did he know that? You're right, Colton, Sonia said. We didn't even know she was a she. Then Colton said something that still rings in my ears. Yeah, she said she just can't wait for you and Daddy to get to heaven. From the kitchen table, I could see that Sonia was barely holding it together. She gave Colton a kiss and told him he could go play. And when he left the room, tears spilled over her cheeks. Our baby is okay, she whispered. Our baby is okay. From that moment on, the wound from one of the most painful episodes in our lives, losing a child we had wanted very much, began to heal. For me, losing the baby was a terrible blow. Sonia told me that to her, the miscarriage not only seared her heart with grief, but it also felt like a personal failure. You do all the right things, eat all the right things, and you pray for the baby's health, but still this tiny baby dies inside you, she had once told me. I feel guilty. I know in my mind that it isn't my fault. There's still this guilt there. There's still this guilt. We had wanted to believe that our unborn child had gone to heaven, even though the Bible is largely silent on this point. We had accepted it on faith. But now we had an eyewitness, a daughter we had never met, was waiting eagerly for us in eternity. From then on, Sonia and I began to joke who would get to heaven first. There were several reasons she had always wanted to outlive me. For one thing, a pastor's wife has to put up with being used as a sermon illustration a lot. If I died first, she always told me she'd finally get to tell the congregation all her stories about me. But now Sonia has a reason for wanting to reach heaven first. When she was pregnant with the child we lost, we had picked out a boy's name, Colton, but we never could agree on a name for a little girl. I liked Kesley, she liked Caitlin. Neither of us would budge, but now we know our little girl doesn't have a name yet. We consistently tell each other, I'm going to beat you to heaven and name her first. That is the end of chapter 17. That was sweet. I just realized how grainy the footage is getting now. Please like and subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subscribers to start beekeeping. Stay blessed, make the world a better place, one person, one moment at a time. Jenny's not here for me to pester again. Have a blessed day.
Like and subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subscribers so we can start beekeeping.
Okay.